Hey, let me talk about chapters 23 and 24 of Akata Warrior by Nede Korafor. And let me just note something that I, as a white Canadian dude, have no right in commenting on. It's more me noting it. Is that as they're traveling towards Lagos, to their, I guess, big sort of boss. I don't know if it's going to be a fight or not because this is Nede Okorafor. They have a little moment where Sasha just sort of says, notes the ignorance of Black Americans, and that Black Americans, because of their anger and hurt, can't actually conquer their ignorance. They can't see outside of their own culture because they feel too inferior. They feel too afraid to be able to kind of open up to the rest of the world, and that makes them ignorant, or many of them, I guess. And it was just like, ooh, okay, that's an interesting statement to make. It is a statement I have no ability to comment on, other than, there definitely have been, Black writers and other people that do seem to have a fairly open a wider view of the world, far wider than myself, which, may not be saying much. It's one of those sort of blanket statements that I could see, ooh, I wonder how a Black American or anyone of the Black diaspora might react to that statement coming from somebody who is kind of puts more of a stake in their Nigerianness. I mean, it's coming from a particular character, so this might not necessarily be what Nede Korafor has to say. It's interesting that it comes from a Black American who, Sasha is a Black American who has come to Nigeria and is saying this. So it's an interesting. I mean, he is also a magic user. He is a leopard. So he may be talking with the lambs, but I wonder how the lambs would feel about that kind of, that sort of a statement. So yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thing. As far as the rest, there hasn't been much happening so far. We're definitely actually getting a little bit of interesting stuff of Sunny thinking about herself. It's like, my parts of myself, thinking about being an American, thinking about being a Nigerian, which I can see, coming from Nede Okorafor, who probably has a sort of a semi sense of that herself, as someone who's lived in both countries, kind of bouncing back and forth, and obviously kind of the privilege of her Americanness. Probably, I mean, that's probably why I'm reading her right now, because if she was strictly a Nigerian author, I probably would never have heard of her, since I don't know how many Nigerian authors I know of, and especially not in a genre kind of context where you can get kind of a wider audience than you can if you're just strictly literature. So yeah, it's one of these things of, I'm sitting back, I'm listening. It'll be interesting to hear people's responses about. Definitely something I don't have anything to contribute, just other than to go, ooh, that seems like some strong words there. Maybe it's matter of fact. Maybe it's highly contentious. I'll have to do some investigation to see what that is. So yeah. As again, I find Nede Okorafor more interesting for all the genre rules she ignores, and for all the stuff she's doing besides what's the genre story, which she's not interested in and doesn't really activate that part of my brain. It's much more activating the other parts of my brain. And now the doodle is running upstairs, so I will stop this and do my dark video and head up.